Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Allah, there is no God but He, the living, the self-subsisting, and all-sustaining. Slumber seizes him not, nor sleep. To him belongs whatsoever is in the heavens and whatsoever is in the earth. Who is he that will intercede with him except by his permission? He knows what is before them and what is behind them, and they encompass nothing of his knowledge except what he pleases. His knowledge extends over the heavens and the earth, and the care of them burdens him not, and he is the high, the great. The verse that I have just recited is verse number 256 of Surah Al-Baqarah, which is also known as Ayat al-Kursi. In our previous Quran class, we started talking about the significance of Ayat al-Kursi. I presented a couple of ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We had a brief synopsis of the subject matter and different themes that are covered or captured in this very jami and very concise ayah of the Holy Quran. This ayat of the Holy Quran has been called the epitome, the climax of the Quran, the chief of all the verses of the Quran. And there is definitely something very unique about this verse. Last time I mentioned that inshallah ta'ala, when we will gather here next time, we will go over the subject matter in a bit of, with more detail. So today I'm going to be inshallah ta'ala sharing the commentary of different passages of Ayat al-Kursi as given to us by Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in Islam, and also the commentary which was given by his Khulafa. So we will start from the beginning of this ayah. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allah, there is no one worthy of adoration, worthy of worship except Him. Meaning there is no one in the entire universe who is truly worthy of being worshipped other than Allah Himself. Al-Hayyu, Al-Qayyum, then the two attributes of Allah are mentioned. Al-Hayy means someone who is alive by himself and he gives life to everything else besides him. And Al-Qayyum, which stems from the root Qama. Qama means to stand. Al-Qayyum means that someone who exists or who actually is self-sustaining, meaning he does not need anybody for his existence. And he is the source of sustenance for everybody else as well. So Al-Qayyum in this context would be the God because of whom everything in the universe and beyond finds its sustenance, its source of life. And Allah is the one who does not require anybody else for his own sustenance. He is by himself. Then the next portion of the verse is La ta'khuzuhu sinatum wala nawm. Slumber seizes him not, nor sleep. The word ta'khuzu comes from the Arabic root of akhaza, and akhaza in Arabic language means to grab hold of something. In Arabic we say akhaza yakhuzu, he took hold of something. Similarly we say khuz ma aqulu, accept that which I say. And from this we say فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ, Allah grabbed them. He took hold of those people because of their sins. So when we say لَا تَأْخُذُهُ سِنَةٌ وَلَا نَوْمٌ, it means that sleep or slumber does not overpower Allah, does not take him, does not affect Allah Ta'ala. Meaning if they are unable to have any effect on God. Then the next word is wala naum, and waw means and, lam alif means not, naum means sleep. Now naum comes from the root nama, noon alif means nama yanumu, and in Arabic language nama yanumu means when a person falls in sleep and it's deep sleep. Now there is a difference between sinatun which means slumber. In Urdu we call it ung. And then there's a difference between the word naum which means sleep, or in Urdu we say neem. So the difference between slumber and sleep is slumber is a sign that a person is extremely tired. Usually people fall asleep. But when a person is extremely tired, they start to yawn. And that is indicative of the fact that this person is extremely tired and now he's going to fall in sleep. So the initial stage of sleep when a person is tired is called sinatun. And naum is basically what follows, which is called the sleep itself. So Allah the Almighty is saying that Allah does not get tired. Number one, Allah does not get tired because the sign of getting tired is that you start yawning, and this is represented in Arabic by the word sinatun. And then when a person, like human beings or even animals, we need to recharge ourselves after a long day. When we perform different actions, when we do different things, our body becomes so tired that it needs to be recharged. You can only go on for so long performing whatever different duties and things that you are performing in your day-to-day life. But there comes a time where your body starts to shut down if you don't recharge. Look, you have cell phones, you have different devices. You can use it till a certain time, and then it stops working. And for it to operate again, you have to charge it. Similarly, the way us, the human beings, the way we charge is that we sleep. And after we have a good sleep, we feel energized, we feel recharged. But in the case of Allah Ta'ala does not need any recharger. Allah Ta'ala is powerful, and Allah Ta'ala does not require any kind of recharging because his strength does not diminish like it does in our case. Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. For him is that which is in the heavens and that which is in the earth. The root for as-samawat has already been covered, and the root for ard, which means earth, is also covered as well in the verses that we have already covered in the past. Then we have Man zalladhi, who is he? Man means who, zalladhi is that. Who is that? Yashfa'u, yashfa'u means he intercedes. Who is he who intercedes? Indahu, who is he who intercedes with Allah Ta'ala? Illa bi'idhnihi, without his permission. Without the permission of God, who can dare intercede on behalf of someone with Allah Ta'ala? Now, the root for yashfa'u is shafa'a. And shafa'a in Arabic language means he joined a single thing with another so as to make it one of a pair. When you bring two things together in such a way that they become joined with one another, the word which is used to explain this phenomena in Arabic language is called shafa'at. So shafa'at literally means to bring two people together until they become one, or two things together until they become part of one another. So in reality, shafa'at is basically when you pray for someone to such a point where the other person's difficulties become your difficulties, where the other person's pain becomes your pain, where the other person's tribulations become your tribulations. And when you feel this way and then you pray to Allah Ta'ala, this is called shafa'at. Regarding the concept of shafa'at, the promised Messiah والسلام, says in his commentary of the Holy Quran, this is in Urdu, so I'm first going to read the Urdu passage, and then inshallah ta'ala, I will try to paraphrase it in English as well. Promised Messiah والسلام, the Imam Mahdi of this time and age, in his book Naseem-e-Dawat, Ruhani Khazain, volume 19, pages 463, 464, writes, कुरान शरीफ की रूह से शिफात के ये माने हैं, शिफात के माने ये हैं कि एक शख्स अपने भाई के लिए दुआ करे कि वो मतलब उसको हासिल हो जाए या कोई बला टल जाए. He says that according to the Holy Quran, shafaat means, or interceding for someone means, that a person prays for his brother with such fervor that his brother ultimately ends up achieving what he desires, or that whatever tribulation and trial he's facing, it gets removed. बस कुरान शरीफ का हुक्म है कि जो शख्स खुदाए ताला के हुजूर में ज्यादा झुका हुआ है, वो अपने कमजोर भाई के लिए दुआ करे कि उसको वो मर्तबा हासिल हो. यही हकीकत शिफात है. Therefore, according to the Holy Quran, that person who has bowed down before Allah the Almighty more so than his brother, meaning someone who is more closer to Allah Ta'ala than his own brother, then the one who is closer to Allah Ta'ala should pray for his weaker brother, that, oh Allah, grant my brother the same nearness to Allah Ta'ala. So हम अपने भाइयों के लिए बेशक दुआ करते हैं कि खुदा उनको कुव्वत दे और उनकी बला दूर करे, और ये एक हमदर्दी की किस्म है. Then the Prophet Muhammad says, so we also pray for our brothers that, oh Allah, grant them power and remove afflictions from them. And this is also a type of mercy for these people. असल में शफात का लफ्ज शुफा से लिया गया है. शुफा जुफ्त को कहते हैं जो ताक की जिद है. बस इंसान को उस वक्त शफी कहा जाता है जबकि वो कमाल हमदर्दी से दूसरे का जुफ्त होकर उसमें फना हो जाता है और दूसरे के लिए ऐसी ही आफियत मांगता है जैसे कि अपने नफ्स के लिए. Then the Prophet Muhammad stated that shafaat literally comes from the word shufa, and shufa means when two things come together to become one. He says when a person prays in such a way out of passion, out of compassion for the other person, that he literally annihilates himself for the sake of the other person. At that time, his prayer is accepted for this other person, and this is called shafaat. और याद रहे कि किसी शख्स का दीन कामिल नहीं हो सकता जब तक कि शिफात के रंग में हमदर्दी उसमें पैदा ना हो, बल्कि दीन के दो ही कामिल हिस्से हैं, एक खुदा से मोहब्बत करना और एक बनी नौ से इस कदर मोहब्बत करना कि उनकी मुसीबत को अपनी मुसीबत समझ लेना और उनके लिए दुआ करना, जिसको दूसरे लफ्जों में शफात कहते हैं. Then the Prophet ﷺ said that religion has two parts. The first part is to love Allah Ta'ala, and the other part is to love His creation. But to love His creation in such a way that you start feeling their pain, meaning the pain of the other person becomes your pain. When that happens and you pray for the other person, at that time, do know that this is what is called shafaat, in other words. Regarding shafaat, many Muslims hold a very twisted view that a sinner, a person who commits all kinds of sins, his day and night is basically drenched in sin, all these different kinds of sin. A person is in the habit of lying, stealing, usurping the rights of his brothers and sisters, commits murder, commits adultery, all these things, without any remorse, without ever doing any kind of tawbah, and then has this concept in his mind that somehow the Day of Judgment, Holy Prophet ﷺ will say that because he's a Muslim, forgive him, O Allah. This is not how shafaat works. The very word shafaat tells you what it is, that we are supposed to do. If we want Holy Prophet's shafaat in our favor, we have to become one with him. And how do you become one with another person? By trying to be like him. But if our day and night is drenched in committing sins, how can we claim to be like Holy Prophet ﷺ? So this is something that needs to be understood when we talk about the concept of shafaat. Now, very quickly, I would like to present the tafsir of this portion of Ayat al-Kursi as presented by Hazrat Amir al-Mumineen, Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz, in his Friday sermon dated June 5th, 2009. Hazur mentioned that when a person says that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah Ta'ala, at that moment his heart should be filled with the love of Allah Ta'ala. At that moment his mind should only be filled with the thought that only Allah is the one who is worthy of worship and no one else. When he has this kind of certainty of faith in Allah Ta'ala, then Allah Ta'ala basically shows him signs. Hazur mentioned, the promised Messiah ﷺ said that God has addressed and informed him to let his community know that those whose faith is free from all worldly adulteration, is not dispossessed of any degree of obedience, are the kind of people God likes, and it is these who are the truthful. Hazur said that this should be the very least we should aspire to. Then Hazur further mentioned that turning to Allah Ta'ala enables us to be the recipient of the blessings in this world as well as the hereafter. Hazur said this world has a substitute for everything. This world has a substitute for everything. But there is no substitute for God. Is it then not foolish to leave Allah Ta'ala and move away from Him? Then Hazur mentioned the portion where Allah Ta'ala says that He is Al-Hayy and that He is Al-Qayyum, the living, the self-subsisting and all-sustaining. Hazur said the living God also sustains all life around us. The promised Messiah ﷺ said, each and every single person that we see has been given life by God, and everything that we observe around us is being sustained by Him. This is an assurance for true believers that their permanence, their baqa, their permanence is in adherence to the living God rather than relying on any worldly means in dire circumstances. In other words, Hazur Anwar Aidahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz is telling us that if you desire that your name remains in this world, if you desire that your existence is fruitful, it's purposeful, and that you achieve what you set out your goals to be, then you must know one thing as a believer, that your permanence is in following Allah Ta'ala. If you do not follow Allah Ta'ala, then blessings will never reach your threshold. They will never be bestowed upon you. Moving forward, regarding La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wala nawm, Hazur mentioned that slumber seizes him not nor sleep. A true believer could never envisage that God, whose attributes are boundless, would ever tire or be inattentive. It is impossible for him to be unmindful of the lives of his servants. In other words, Allah Ta'ala can never be inattentive. When a person is dozing off, is drowsy, or is falling asleep, that person loses his attention. But that never happens with Allah Ta'ala. It reminds me of an incident that Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Awal, the first Khalifa of the promised Messiah Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam, Hazrat Haji Maulana Nuruddin Sahib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he mentioned in his tafsir of the Quran of the exact same verse, he says that once there was a person who said that there is no harm even if God sleeps, or there is no harm even if God becomes so tired that he starts dozing off or becomes drowsy. At this, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Awal radiyallahu anhu says that this man was told that here you have two pieces of glass in your hand, two mirrors. Now your job is to hold them in such a way that you protect them and these two glasses do not break. These two mirrors don't break. So this man was holding on to both of them, one in each of his hands, until he became tired. And when he became tired, he became drowsy, and he basically, fell asleep. And the moment he fell asleep, his hands came together, and the two mirrors, struck one another, and as a result of that strike, the mirrors broke. So if a person cannot even protect two mirrors, think about the entire cosmos, the entire universe and beyond. A God who sleeps, how can he protect this huge system which is in place? अगर खुदा को नींद आ जाए तो इस कायनात का क्या बनेगा? एक दफा का जिक्र है कि हजरत खलीफतुल मसीह अव्वल रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु एक मजलिस में बैठे थे. ये वाकया उन्होंने अपनी कुरान की तफसीर में बयान किया. आप कहते हैं कि किसी शख्स ने ये एतराज किया कि अगर खुदा को नींद आ भी जाए, खुदा को ऊंघ आ भी जाए तो इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? तो हजरत खलीफा अव्वल रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु तारीफ फरमाते हैं, उस शख्स को कहा गया ये दो शीशे हैं, तुम इनकी हिफाजत कर सकते हो, इनको पकड़ो और इनकी हिफाजत करो और बैठे रहो. अब वो बंदा एक हाथ में एक शीशा, दूसरे हाथ में दूसरा शीशा लेके बैठा हुआ था. कुछ देर गुजरी होगी, चंद घंटे गुजरे होंगे, थक गया. थकने के बाद तभी नतीजा ये निकला था कि उसको नींद आ गई. जब नींद आई तो झटका लगा और झटके के नतीजे में उसके दोनों हाथ आपस में टकराए और शीशे जो थे उसके हाथ में वो दोनों टूट गए. तो ये बात पेश करके हजरत खलीफतुल मसीह अव्वल रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु ये बात बयान करते हैं कि अगर नींद के नतीजे में एक कांच तक की इंसान हिफाजत नहीं कर सकता, तो खुद सोचो अगर खुदा को नींद आ जाए तो इस कायनात की कौन हिफाजत करेगा और किस तरह से इसकी हिफाजत होगी. Moving forward, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Khamis Aidahullah Ta'ala bin Aziz then says regarding Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard, that this signifies that no one should be in doubt that Allah and His Messenger that Allah and His Messenger will be triumphant. They will be the winners. Hazur said, from a worldly perspective, this appears unlikely or in the far removed and distant future. However, when Allah has told His Prophet that Allah has decreed, most surely I will prevail, I and my messengers, in chapter 58 of the Quran, He fulfilled it despite in probable circumstances. Once he has decided that his messenger's community will triumph, no one can alter this victory, be it worldly powers or the so-called standard bearers of religion. However, it has been made clear to believers from the onset that the triumph will be for those who have firm and complete faith in Allah, who is the master of all the attributes, and those who worship Him. Hazur said it is essential that each Ahmadi fully understands this. Allah the Almighty has said that Allah and His Messenger's community, Khuda Ta'ala, Uske Rasool और उनकी जमातें हमेशा गलबा इन्हीं का ही हुआ करता है. That it is Allah's community that always triumphs. But then Hazur said that every Ahmadi should know that only those people from among the Jamaat will be part of this triumph who are true believers, who have firm and complete faith in Allah Ta'ala. If you do not have firm and complete faith in Allah Ta'ala, then you are not part of this triumph that Allah the Almighty promised with Hazrat Masih Maud. And then talking about the concept of Shafaat, Hazur said, no intercession without the authority of God will avail in His presence. Meaning, nobody can intercede on anyone's behalf until and unless Allah gives the permission to you to intercede on someone's behalf. Hazrat Masih Maud said that the Holy Prophet ﷺ was the true intercessor who freed his people from all kind of vice and made them a nation of highest standard. One should never assume that intercession has no merit. Intercession is a verity. It enables the egotistic passions to cool off, eliminates a life of sin, and initiates one on piety. Intercession does not make one's deeds ineffective. Rather, it inspires good deeds. In the intercession of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, starts in this life and is conditional to good works. It is not compatible with the philosophy of atonement. It is not compatible with the philosophy of atonement. Atonement promotes wrongdoing, whereas intercession leads one to good works. The promised Messiah ﷺ said that many noble members of his community were well aware that many were alleviated of their sufferings and difficulties with his intercession. In other words, Hazrat Masih Maud is telling us that intercession is nothing like the Christian concept of atonement. The Christian concept of atonement is something which I actually explained in much detail in one of the Darsul Quran during the month of Ramadan last year. Atonement basically is the concept that Jesus died for the sins of mankind. As long as you believe that He died for your sins, you can commit whatever you want to do in life and it would harm you no more. Because you believe that Jesus has already paid the price for your past sins and the future sins. Now imagine if you were told you can do whatever you want to do and you will not have to pay the price for it because someone else has already paid the price for it. Imagine the kind of things one would go, the length one would go to. There was a study which was done in different universities of the United States of America where they interviewed young college-going or university-going men. And they asked them that if there was, no punishment, if you were not going to be caught and if you were not going to be punished, would you, physically and sexually harass women? And more than 75% of these young men said, yes, they will go ahead and commit these heinous crimes. Why? Because they were told, imagine if there is no punishment. If you won't get caught, would you do it? And the natural response was yes. This is what those young men were saying. This is exactly what the concept of atonement teaches. That you don't have to worry about it. There is no repercussion. There is no punishment for you in store. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you believe that Jesus has already paid the price of your sins with his life. So this is what the promised Messiah is saying. that the concept of shifaat is nothing like the concept of atonement which is present in the Christian literature. The concept of shifaat is you become one with Holy Prophet ﷺ by following him, by obeying him, by becoming like him. When you do that, then his prayers will be accepted in your favor, and then Allah Ta'ala's mercy will shower down upon you. Inshallah Ta'ala, we'll continue where we are leaving this subject matter today in our next class. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.